20-day fight over in 4. Tel Hamas, no Kurds dead. One Daesh dead was the only thing left in town, and it's supposed to be the main IED factory for Daesh, so maybe this is going to end quicker than we think. Other than that, it is what it is. This is me, SYRIA.
If anybody sees this on YouTube and they figure themselves gangster, come on to SYRIA. This is gangster, gents.
Bruce Windorski and Jamie Lane are 2 American military veterans who traveled to Syria to fight against ISIS, or Daesh as it's known in Arabic. The men met while they were fighting with the American-backed Kurdish group known as the YPG. Both had hooked up with the YPG by going through their Facebook page. They used cameras to capture some of the dramatic moments they spent fighting in Syria during the first part of 2015.
Okay, we're under sniper fire right now. We built a dummy. You'll hear rounds coming in soon. Whoa! There he is.
Both men are part of an unusual, and some say growing, fringe group of Americans and other Westerners who choose to take up arms in Iraq and Syria to fight against ISIS.
On the other side of the hill, there's a battle going on. Probably 3, 4, 5 miles away.
Even though the U.S. discourages citizens from going, it isn't illegal to volunteer to fight there as long as it's not against American interests. The FBI estimates that there are fewer than 100 U.S. citizens fighting ISIS abroad.
I definitely want to put my time in, and try to help with this world epidemic of ISIS cockroaches that are infesting Syria.
Bruce is a former Army Ranger. He traveled to the region to avenge the death of his brother, who was killed when his Army helicopter was shot down by Iraqi insurgents in 2009.
My main goal was to go to Kirkuk where my brother died. But once I figured out that that wasn't going to happen, I told the YPG, yeah, I'll go to Syria and I'll fight as a Westerner. And yeah, then after that decision was made, and I ended up in Syria.
Jamie was a Marine who served 2 tours in Iraq. After seeing a town he had fought in taken over by ISIS, it made him wonder if the sacrifices his fellow Marines made were for nothing. He decided to go back and fight in the Middle East.
I personally promised many of the residents of that town that things would be better as soon as the United States left Iraq. Well, when I saw that video of their town destroyed, it made a liar out of me.
During their time in Syria, they came across rooms ISIS used for bomb making. They found detonators made of mattress foam and bolts and deserted factories of IEDs, including one that appeared to be made of depleted uranium.
A bunch of rockets, and there's 3 of them packed together.
They also had some close encounters. During one long fight, both men were pinned down and thought they might not make it out alive. The Kurdish forces sent in an armored bulldozer to rescue the fighters as ISIS militants closed in. The Americans scrambled inside as the driver popped through the roof to fire at the militants as he drove with his feet.
I feared death for the first time, actually, in my entire time in war. I actually felt the fear inside of me, and it was unfamiliar, and it wasn't funny.
After the harrowing retreat, the Americans realized they had come as close to death as they wanted to.
So we just made a retreat from a town outside of Tel Amis. They had us surrounded. We were pushed out across an open field. Tell them about how you feel, bruh.
Huh?
We got our Panzer here. We escaped across 2 clicks of open field.
Oh, yeah.
Under
that was my first ever tactical retreat. I hope
fire.
it's my last.
I think my days with the YPG are over.
For Jamie, fighting ISIS with the poor and limited equipment he was given was harder than anything he'd ever experienced as a Marine.
I know what it feels like now to be an insurgent against a major power, a major military, because we had the same weaponry in the YPG that the insurgents who were fighting against me in Iraq had. So it was like a role reversal kind of, and it wasn't that fun at all. It was quite eye-opening and scary.
Kurds just come in and cut the wires off the batteries. Crazy shit. It's all 6, there were 7 propane tanks in there. And the YPG thinks that the Westerners rely too much on technology and are not very good fighters and not very good street fighters because they rely on technology to fight. In Kurdistan, you don't have that technology unless you buy it in the black market shops, and just everything else is old Russian sniper rifles, old Russian machine guns.
Although both men voluntarily traveled to fight ISIS and help the Kurds, they are conflicted over how much the U.S. should do. Jamie thinks the U.S. should not send ground troops over, but it should arm the YPG.
I don't think that our political system has the capacity to properly utilize our military forces in large scale in the Middle East. I don't think we know enough about the region or the culture to do that properly. We need all the friends we can get in that region, you know? And there is one staring us right in the face called the YPG.
Bruce thinks the U.S. should do more to back the Kurdish militants fighting ISIS.
The only way this is going to end is if the U.S. is going to support the Kurds. The U.S. should link up with the YPG, give them the thermal imaging, and give them the night vision, and give them the modern weaponry, and then air support and anything that they do. Basically, what they've been doing in Iraq, and give the Kurds that support to end this.
Bruce and Jamie left the battlefield in Syria a few months ago, and they both say they got some kind of closure from their experiences. They still keep in contact with the men they fought alongside and follow events as they unfold in Syria.
I didn't want to be guaranteed death, you know? I needed to know that I had a chance to survive, and at that time, when I left, I didn't feel that there was a chance at all for survival if I'd stayed long enough. I think my capacity to fight on the front lines is diminished. I don't have it in me anymore.
And I feel like I solved some issues that I was having, you know? I mean, I got to see it. I got to put boots on the ground. I got to, I engaged several targets over there. I feel like I got that revenge part of it, you know? Yeah.